Hello class, welcome to Algebra Lesson 1-4, which is all about literal equations and formulas. By the end of this lesson, you should be able to rewrite and use literal equations to solve problems. Alright, example 1, rewrite literal equations. So Janet wants to calculate the time. Okay, so that sounds important. I'm going to underline it. Janet wants to calculate the time it takes to earn a certain amount of interest on a principal amount in an investment with simple interest. In case you don't remember the formula for simple interest, which I do not expect you to remember, it's the interest equals the principal times the interest rate times the time. So just to help you guys kind of keep track of those, I represents interest, P represents principal, R represents interest rate, and T represents time. And time is generally represented in years, okay? So what equation can she use? So she would use this I equals PRT, except if she was using I equals PRT and she wanted to calculate the time, that means that I want to kind of move some of these variables around. I have I equals PRT, but I want to know the times. That means I want to get T all by itself. So that means I have to move that P and that R. Right now I have PRT. Since I'm not saying like P plus R plus T, or P minus R minus T, or P divided by R divided by T. I just said PRT. Remember that when you don't actually verbally say an operation, multiplication is implied. So that is P times R times T. And that means that if I want T all by itself, I need to divide both sides. I need to undo that multiplication. And I need to move both the P and the R. So that means T equals, because that T is all by itself now, but now I have I divided by PR. And so that's how Janet could rewrite that formula or that equation in order to be able to easily solve for the amount of time something might take. Okay? All right, now I've done one example for you. I want you to rewrite this formula again, but this time we want to know what equation can Janet use to calculate the principal amount. So go ahead and use that I equals PRT and solve for the principal amount. Good luck. All right, hopefully for this one you said, okay, if I want to solve for the principal amount, that means I have to leave that P variable where it is and move that R and that T. And the way you move that RT is by dividing. So hopefully you ended up with I divided by RT. All right, example 2. In a half hour, Miss Johnson is meeting the other middle school teachers at Devani's for dinner. She is currently 30 miles away from Devani's. At what average speed must she drive to get there on time? So in our weighted averages video, I talked about the formula distance equals rate times time. That's what we're going to use to solve this problem, okay? So D equals RT. Right now, D represents distance. I know that in the problem, I am 30 miles away from Devani's. So I'm going to say 30 equals. And then R represents the rate, which I'm trying to solve for, right? At what average speed? That's the same as the rate. So I'm going to leave that out for a second. And then T represents time. And T for time, we generally talk about hours. Okay? But this time I said in half an hour. So I can use 1/2, or you can do 0.5 if that makes you feel more comfortable. 0.5 times whatever that rate is. All right. So now to get to get R by itself, I'm going to divide both sides by 1/2, and I get 60 equals R. So that means I need to be averaging 60 miles per hour in order to make it to Devani's on time. Okay, now a question for you to try. Miss Johnson is going to Target Field, which is about 7 miles away, for a Twins game. She only has 15 minutes to get there before the game starts. At what average speed must she drive to get to the game before it starts? I don't want you to overthink this. I don't want you to think about, well, Miss Johnson, like, you have to get there and then you have to park and walk into this. No, okay? Just simple. Can I drive there in time? Or, like, how fast do I have to drive in order to get there in time? So, again, distance equals rate times time. Good luck. All right, for this one, hopefully you figured out if it's 15 minutes, that's 1/4, 1/4 of an hour. So you said 0.25 or the fraction 1/4. So 7 equals 1/4 R. Divide both sides by that 1/4 and you get 28 miles per hour. Last example for today. We have a worker at a framing store is making a rectangular frame. I'm going to just draw myself a quick picture. A rectangle's easy, right? He knows that the perimeter of the frame is 144 inches. Remember, perimeter means around the outside, the distance around the outside. And the length is 40 inches. So I'm going to label that both lengths, because there are two lengths, right? And I want to figure out the width. And I see that there are two sides. I still need to figure out what that length is. So the perimeter always equals 2 times the length, because there's two lengths, plus 2 widths. So I'm going to replace P with 144. 2L, that would be 2 times 40, which is just 80, plus 2W. So to solve this, I'm going to subtract both sides by 80. I'm left with 64 equals 2W. Then I continue on, and I divide both sides by 2, and I get 32 equals the width. So 32 inches is my answer. If you have questions on that, please be sure to let me know. And the last question for you to solve, write the formula for the area of a triangle. A equals 1/2 BH in terms of H. Okay, so that's kind of the first step. I want you to rewrite A equals 1/2 base times height. I want you to solve that for the height. Okay, I'm not asking you to actually plug in these numbers yet. I just want you to move the variables around so you have H equals and then your other variables. Good luck. Okay, hopefully you ended up with 2A over B equals H as the first part of your answer. Now that you have that, I want you to find the height of a triangle when A equals 18 and B equals 9. Good luck. All right, for that problem, hopefully you ended up with H equals 4. You can see my work right over there. If you have questions, please be sure to raise your hand and ask for some help. And the last page is just a quick concept summary. So if you want to take a screenshot of this and add it to your notes, great. If you're not someone that does that, that's fine too. Just be sure that you understand the material. So if you need to ask questions, you're actually asking questions, whether it's of me or your friend, okay? Just be sure to get those questions answered. And I hope you have a fantastic day.